Toxicity is a problem that comes up in the communities of many competitive games. With the amount of activity Riot Games have stimulated for Valorant, controversies are bound to turn up. Recently, the company has responded to a firestorm in the Valorant's community by temporarily suspending 2 players from the competitive scene of Valorant. In this video, we'll be looking into this whole story. It's Dawn Park and Vivian Dela Cruz who are in the Riot Games hot seat. The 2 players have been banned from all competitive events that are sanctioned by Riot Games themselves. Dawn will be banned for 3 months, while Vivian, also known as Rizora, got a longer ban of 9 months. They were part of a community called the Valorants. It's an all-female competitive community that wants to create a safe and inclusive environment for female and non-binary Valorant players to hang out and shoot at each other. The group is prominent in the Valorant world, and they've worked closely with Team Liquid, Gen G, and Riot themselves. These 2 players in particular were also part of VCT Game Changers, which is the program created by Riot themselves with similar objectives. Currently, the Valorants are working with Gen G to arrange the Astral Clash tournament for 2022 and 23. This will be a B-tier tournament that caters solely to women and non-binary Valorant players. And since this tournament is sanctioned by Riot, Dawn and Rizora will be missing out on Astral Clash and many other Valorant tournaments. Which begs the question, what did Dawn and Rizora do? It all started in late June on the Valorant Discord. One of the members was talking about teabagging and suggested it was an equivalent to virtual sexual assault. If you've ever been in an online gaming forum in the post-Gamergate era, you can imagine exactly what happened next. The Discord threatened to go down in flames until moderators closed the server to give everyone a chance to cool down. That opportunity to cool down wasn't taken by everyone, as the argument spilled over to Twitter. Since this was all in a public forum now, outsiders started to join the kerfuffle. These included Charlie White, better known as Critical, and Jake Lucky. At this point, Dawn supposedly made a vulgar and targeted remark to the player who started it all. As for Rizora, not only was she slinging remarks from her own account, they were apparently making alt accounts to target the player in question. They also shared screenshots from the original Discord conversation on Twitter, as well as a video that they put together to target the player. So, how did Riot respond? You wouldn't expect the developers of Valorant and League of Legends to take a matter like this so seriously, but they actually did. They went through the conversations on Twitter and Discord, as well as conducting interviews with a number of people involved. They've also reviewed extensive screenshots and videos of the discourse. The conclusion they arrived at was that Dawn was in violation of Rule 7.3.1 of the Valorant Champions Tour Competition Global Policy. That rule relates to vulgar and hateful speech. Meanwhile, Rizora was found to be in violation of 7.3.1 and Rule 7.3.4 pertaining to harassment. The fact that Dawn broke one rule instead of 2 is why she ended up with the lighter sentence. So basically, Dawn is kicked out of the playground until September 27th, 2022. Rizora, meanwhile, won't be able to play with the others until March of next year. That's a long suspension, but they probably should have thought about what would happen before embarking on this crusade. And what do the banned players have to say all about this? Ironically, the one who got the bigger sentence was more humble about what happened. Rizora posted a blunt statement on Twitter saying that she was taking responsibility for her actions, but was questioning her long-term future in competitive Valorant, and Valorant in general. She also defended herself by saying that she wouldn't be taking down her videos about the Valorant's experience and the Astral Clash experience. That would mean that while she regrets some of the harsher things she said or did, she stands by her overall stance on the issue. Dawn, on the other hand, was a lot more incensed about everything. She argued that she has personal secondhand experience with sexual assault, and it's a lot more serious than crouching over someone's face in a video game. With that being said, she felt justified in the intensity of her response to the player. Interestingly, she shared links to the tweets that Riot said led to her ban, inviting anyone reading to decide for themselves. We're gonna stay out of that rabbit hole. One thing that both of them commented on was the fact that in announcing their ruling, Riot actually used their real names. Since they'd been completely anonymous before, they're mad that their identities have been leaked to the rest of the world, and this is having effects on their personal lives. Dawn in particular mentioned getting texts from people in her school. We can't help but feel like that the bans were punishment enough for what they did. Releasing their names and personal info is uncalled for and inappropriate. And that, it seems, is where the story ends for Dawn and Rizora. But this is a tragic example of how discourse in gaming can go wrong. It's happened before, but no one seems to learn anything. Oh well. In other news, we have some news about Project L. Riot Games has been hammering away at their 2D fighting game set in the League of Legends universe, and this week they had some announcements to make about the game. The headline, of course, is that Project L is gonna be free to play. This is hardly the first time we're seeing a free to play video game, but it's pretty unique to the fighting game genre. It's also going to the opposite direction from the other fighting games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, which are looking for new ways to get that recurrent user spending. In announcing the free-to-play model, Riot pointed to League and Valorant, among other games, as examples that the company respects the wallets of their players. Another thing that was announced was the newest champion they've added to the game, Illaoi, the Kraken Priestess. She joined the roster of League back in 2015, so she'll be a very familiar face to players of that game. With her giant totem and her ripping muscles, she can flatten her enemies just on her own, without the help of gods or magic. but the Kraken will be standing with Alawi, and his tentacles will help her with ranged attacks and zone control. The Kraken can also steal the souls of her opponents, but we're assuming you'll have to get their life to 0 first. The one thing we wanted to see but was left out of the announcement was a release date. Project L has been in the oven since 2019, but there doesn't seem to be a release date in sight. And how about that League of Legends MMO? Unfortunately, that's a Riot Games project that no one knows much about. It feels like the leaks that revealed the game were huge in 2020, but the chatter around this game slowly died down, and that's apparently exactly how Riot likes it. The company's VP took to Twitter to explain why Riot is so cagey about details right now and when we can expect more. You see, the game was revealed through job ad postings for MMO experts, and generating buzz was very much their goal. That buzz led them to find the MMO experts they needed, but the game is still in early stages. He said that he couldn't wait to tell us more about what the MMO will be, but he appreciates that the lack of public eyeballs allows them to tweak and fine-tune the game without scrutiny. A lot of games have struggled with the lack of flexibility in development once they were outed to the gaming press. Our guess is that Riot is dialed in on Project L right now, and we shouldn't expect to hear too much about the MMO until that game is taken off and hit cruising altitude, but we can assure that we'll be bringing any updates to you as soon as they come. Finally, an update on the Star Guardians rewards. Despite the fact that League has been on the air for so long, Riot were caught off guard by just how many people signed into the game to complete missions during their Star Guardians events. The turnout of the event has overloaded Riot systems, leading to delays in people getting their rewards. Don't lose hope yet. Riot says that your rewards are coming soon, as they scale up their hardware to meet this demand and future-proof their servers. All the rewards are in a traffic jam, but the jam is moving slowly but surely. You won't be waiting much longer now for your rewards. That's it for today's video. At the risk of turning our comment section into a war zone, what do you think of the whole teabagging situation? Was it handled well by the Valorants? And did Dawn and Rizura deserve their bans, or is Riot overreacting to a high-profile scandal? Let us know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See ya!